Do you agree with Pat Bev? Can you get some smoke? No.
Yes.
Give Pat Bev some
time
smoke.
to talk about it, girl. Dive in. Here we go.
No. That is the biggest. When I make takes sometimes and people don't understand what I'm saying is because you guys never played the game. They're watching the game. So they think MVPs and championships validate what a star is, what someone who actually loved this game is. There's Hall of Famers in this game. They're top 5, top 10 in this sport, in every sport, that didn't love it.
Right.
They were just gifted so much that they had the fucking advantage over everyone. Doesn't mean they loved the game. Doesn't mean that they prepared like everyone else. They just had something better than everyone else. They can jump higher. They ran faster. Their IQ was, but they did not apply themselves. And what ends up happening is when you have a group that don't love it and you love it, majority of those players are called cancers to the team, right? Remember Jimmy Butler?
Yeah, Minnesota.
Right? Was called what? Bad locker room
teammate.
guy.
Yep.
Bad team guy.
Yep.
You put him in a winning organization where everyone wants to win. Look who he is now.
The leader.
Right? Yeah. The media killed this man.
Yep.
Look where those other players are today.
Talk about it.
Still trying to figure out who the fuck they are.
Right. No.
Right? Mm-hmm. And that's the difference. Like, money to guys who really want to win doesn't matter. It's just another number. Right? It's getting better, trying to be perfect. So when you hear someone like Kobe say this, you guys call me a ball hog because I don't want to pass the ball. Right? What he's meaning is this: you're not in practice with him every single day. You're not on the bus. You're not on the bench after a game. We're getting beat by 30 and motherfuckers over there giggling and shit, talking about what strip club they go to. You're not dreaming, having bad nightmares of plays that's running through your brain, right? You're not in there. So when you tell me why didn't I pass him the ball, because he don't love this shit. Mm-mm. He's just doing it because he wants to take care of his family.
Right.
He want to do it because, hey, they writing checks.
They're writing checks.
They're writing checks, so I might as well go ahead and get it.
Come on, man.
Like, that is the difference. I'm not the selfish one because I'm not passing the ball. They're selfish for wanting it, knowing that they don't do nothing to deserve this bitch.
Can we talk about it? Can we talk about, because this is why I consider Kobe, this is my perception of looking at what the greatest of all time is, and embodies the love and the excellence of the game. Mm-hmm. And I feel Kobe, with his work ethic, what he showed the world that he can do when you count him out, is greatness, because he willed it. It's like, I'm gonna work harder than you. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna be that guy that's gonna show you that you can't outwork me because I love this shit. Mike, he was just like what you said. You can walk up on the court, just like Pat Bev say, man, you can just go out there and just fucking go out there and play and just do the shit. Mike, the last dance, he said, man, I'm about tired of this shit. I'm gonna go do some other shit. Went and go play some baseball. Went to play some golf, and he came back. Kobe couldn't walk away from it. He couldn't spend two minutes away from the game. And just like I know you, when it come down to really focusing in those 4 or 5 years as you was really trying to get to the bag, like, you can't breathe without this shit. You really love this shit. You dissect this shit like students. It's real. So when I look at other players, like he's saying, you can tell they don't love it. You can smell it on them. Like, man, you don't want it. You don't want it more than me. Yeah. I'm less than you, and you don't want it more than me. I can't root for you, bro. I want it more than you. At 38, I want it more than a lot of you niggas out there right now. I'll take it from you right now, just because I love this shit. And that's what I love about, you know, our culture, because we love this shit for real.
I think, like, in this generation too, with the game of basketball, like, we see so much, like we get access to things before we even have to make it.
Yeah.
Now, like, way more than when we did. Like, back then, yeah, we got stuff, like, but we still had to, like, all we knew was just rankings. Like, somebody was ranked higher than us. Now, it's a kid, he'll have like a highlight tape, and that's all he going off of. And then next thing you know, he was just like, he ain't working. He's just eating off that the social media buzz that people are just telling you. So I think that's why a lot of players don't love it. And you have so much access to other things in life now.
Yep.
Like you see so much. Like, so your focus is not as dialed in as it used to be when we were younger because we didn't have access to a lot of things.
Yep. That's all we had.
And also like with the Jordan thing, well, see, that's different. Okay, so when you talk about the pinnacle of just all sports, the GOATs, the ones they call the GOATs were the gifted ones that also had the work ethic. Like, so when you really talk about The Last Dance, Jordan was the ultimate asshole, right? He was the ultimate asshole because he demanded more from everyone. Yeah. When they ran line drills, he was first every single time. He had the Breakfast Club, right? You come over here, we're gonna work out first. I want to make sure the guys that I'm relying on is working, right? Fuck the rest of them. I'm gonna make sure you guys are working, we're doing what I'm doing, then we'll go to fucking practice, right? So there's like somebody like Kobe, right? He don't have the engine as Jordan, right? So he can only get to a certain level, right? The engine, if he has the same work ethic, this is what makes him great, right? So what frustrates a guy like Patrick Beverley is he has to work day in and day out for every minute he plays, every dollar he gets. And you have a guy who just sits there, you know, just coming in, collecting the check, averaging 20, all team, all NBA, and Pat Bev is like, man, if I just oh my God, some of y'all are sitting there, you're understanding, but you're not applying it.
Right.
There's times where you be like, man, if I was just 4 inches taller, you know, I'll be that's Patrick Beverley thinking.
Yes.
Or if you're in the workplace and you're like, man, if I knew the manager like he does and all these hours I put in and he just comes in here and he gets all these promotions, that's what we're talking about, right? It's you're doing everything possible while this person just comes in every 10 minutes, they leave, they on the phone. They're not putting the preparation, but the guy who has the talent and the preparation, that's what makes them, that's what makes them him.
And it's not jealousy on Pat Bev's part.
No.
Some people can get it misconstrued oh, he hate. Nah, it's admiration because he's like, man, that motherfucker's so talented. He don't even got to come in here and put in the work that I be putting in. I wish I was that goddamn talented. I wish I had this access, that. And I've always loved both sides, you know what I'm saying? Because the other side sometimes don't see Pat Bev. You know what I'm saying? Mike don't see how Pat Bev admire the fact that he come in here and do what he do, but also he kind of jealous of it because he's like, man, I would do so much more with that shit. You know what I'm saying? You just come in here and just fucking boom, boom, boom and get up out of here. Hit about 20 shots and get up out of here. I got to be in here 2-3 hours. And I feel like I'm more accomplished because I'm spending more time. But you don't have to because you booby gifts.
Yeah, and in my era, you know, my years, you know, I used to go to the gym before the game, about 3 o'clock, right? The one consistent person I seen every time we played was Kobe. He ranked 1. Ranked 2, Ray Allen.
Yep.
Before the game, like we're talking like 3 o'clock, 3:30, 3 o'clock.
Way too early.
Ray Allen, 3rd, Steve Nash. Now think about every star that came in that era. The most consistent 3 I seen before games: Kobe, Ray, and Steve Nash.
Gym rats.
So when you talk about people who played and dominated in that era, and then you say, how come you wasn't the greatest ever? Because he loved the benefits of being it.
Yes.
Just like 50% of y'all don't give a fuck about y'all job, y'all just collecting the check.
I'm gonna say more than 50.
Yeah, but no, true. Pat Bev gave 50%. It's more like 25%.
That actually love it?
Love. When you're talking about loving the game means like I cannot stop thinking about this shit. Like when I go home, we finish our game, I'm already looking at what the other stars did. I'm not on the phone talking to girls. I'm on God damn it, AI. Like it triggered me, AI scored 50, I want to get in the gym.
Man.
Like how long, what time, where we staying at? Is there a 24-hour fitness?
I got to get to the
love of the process of the game, the love of it. A lot of players don't have the love of the actual game.
Priority number one.
And I know a lot of people out there are like, oh man, if I was this tall or that, whatever, I'd be doing this. Like, you still got to put the work in. Like,
Yes.
it's a lot of 7-foot motherfuckers that ain't in the league that's doing, basic
No,
shit.
but what Pat Bev is coming from that guy who works his ass off. He's doing everything he can, and he just ain't getting looked at because of his height or something, right? And he's like, man, if I were just 4 inches taller, man, I'll be a D1 player. That's how Pat Bev is looking like. Man, as much time I put in this game, how much I don't, I'm sacrificing to stay in the league, right? I don't go to the clubs, I don't do this, I prep around there, and you just, fuck.
And you can see sometimes it's like when you want it more than someone else, it just oozes out of them and out of you. You can smell, you be like, oh, I just don't want to be around you, bro.
Collecting, I mean,
I
shit.
want it more than you. I want it more than you, nigga.
There's Hall of Famers, there's top 5 players that they played the game. They played it. They didn't love the game. They didn't dedicate their lives to the game. It was they got checks, the life of it, getting women, being famous, and all of that.
Yeah. Yep.
Like there's guys that love the game, right? I mean, they got the love of the game clause in their game, meaning I can play anywhere I want at any time, and that's what it is.
Yep.
Well, like when I heard Jordan had that to protect himself, I got that in my contract. I want the love of the game in my contract, so when I go play on a street at Venice Beach, you can't take my contract, right? I just want to be able to play where I see fit, right? Then you have guys who love the atmosphere of what it brings.
What it brings.
Yeah.
What it brings, you know what I mean? It's like a rap, but that's the difference between the Jay-Z, the Kanye, the Drakes and all that versus these young rappers who just make one song, they want to drink the lean and doing all this versus a guy who spends his months in these studios preparing, right? And then when you see him, it's just more flash pictures, send it off, but you never really see him in public like that.
Yeah. It's the association to the game. They want the association. Remember when we got in the league, they say you show your NBA card. If you came to the club and you show your NBA card, you get in and you had no problems and none of that shit. Like, it's the association. And now they give guys opportunities to be in the NBA so they can say they were NBA players. And that alone is clout. That's like to die for. And people out there, the fans, would be like, man, I'd do anything to be an NBA player or say I was in the NBA and da-da-da-da-da. But it's like, man, but what you really here for? We're not here for that. Especially if you're chasing greatness. It ain't about the clout and what it can get you. It's about, man, what I'm leaving, my legacy.